Welcome to Casense.
So imagine how incredibly clear a mistake becomes the second after you've made it. You look at the flat tire and suddenly remember you meant to check the pressure weeks ago. Perfect clarity, completely useless timing. In the professional world, we have a whole ritual dedicated to this. It's called the post-mortem. After a project crashes, the team gathers in a conference room to piece together exactly what killed it. The analysis is usually spot on. You find the missed deadline, the ignored warning sign, or the budget gap. But at this point, you are diagnosing a patient that has already flatlined. Figuring out what went wrong helps you next time, sure, but catching those exact same flaws while the project is still alive, that is the actual goal. So imagine if we could run that exact same diagnostic meeting with that exact same brutal honesty weeks before the work even begins. This is a technique called the pre-mortem. Think of it as a mental time machine you activate right at the kickoff of a new initiative. Developed by psychologists, the whole point of this exercise is to artificially trigger that feeling of perfect 20/20 hindsight while your plan is still just a sketch on a whiteboard. By tricking your brain into looking backward instead of forward, you expose hidden traps before a single dollar or hour is actually spent. Normally, when a team is about to start something new, someone will ask, what could go wrong? And usually people are polite. They voice a few optimistic, surface-level concerns, everyone nods, and you move on. The pre-mortem replaces that polite check-in with a mental trick. You treat the future as if it's already the past. Here is how you trigger it. You tell your team, fast forward 1 year into the future. Our project is over and it has completely catastrophically failed. Notice the grammar. You stop asking why a plan might stumble and demand to know why it did die. This illustrates the difference. Researchers found people are 30% better at generating specific reasons once they imagine an outcome has already happened. Simply changing the tense of the question alters how aggressively your brain hunts for threats. Imagine this in the real world. A software team is highly confident and just days away from launching a new payments app called PayQuick. Instead of a pep talk, the team leader starts with step 1, imagining failure. She forces everyone to visualize a launch day where the servers crash, customers are angry, and the app is pulled from the store. Then comes step 2. Every single person in the room is given a notepad and instructed to write down the exact reasons why the launch failed. And they must do this completely alone in silence. This chart shows why private writing is important. If the boss speaks first, the rest of the room unconsciously aligns their opinions to match. By severing that connection and forcing people to write in silence, you cut off groupthink. Now you get independent, unfiltered thoughts. Giving everyone their own space to think is how you surface the quiet, unpopular fears that usually sink projects. Once everyone has their list, we move to step 3, share and group. The leader goes around the room collecting every single reason for failure. As these individual, disconnected fears are read aloud, you will start to notice patterns. The team organizes them into 3 or 4 major risk themes, like customer support wasn't ready, or the sign-up process was too long. Now you have your targets for step 4, strengthen the plan. The team takes those biggest risk themes and assigns concrete prevention steps to each one. The goal of this meeting is not to build a list of complaints. The goal is to build actual barriers. You take those newly discovered risks and insert early warning signals and safety checks directly into the project schedule. Back to PayQuick. Because their pre-mortem revealed hidden fears about server capacity, they added mandatory load testing and doubled support staff for week 1. They pushed their launch back a little to make those fixes. And because they did, they survived the opening week surge. Finding a weakness and fixing it, cheap beats a confident crash. Think about the usual social dynamics of a planning meeting. Everyone is supposed to be a supportive team player. Pointing out flaws feels like you're just being difficult. The pre-mortem entirely bypasses this social pressure. Because the project is officially declared dead from the start, no one has to be the bad guy who ruins the mood. This setup gives naturally cautious, observant people explicit permission to speak up. The person who normally bites their tongue is suddenly encouraged to slap a bold warning label right on the whiteboard. By starting with the assumption that the project failed, you ironically make it safe for everyone to be honest, which is exactly what you need to succeed. You don't need to do this for every minor task. If you're running an errand or completing a low-stakes, reversible project, this process is overkill. You also shouldn't use it if the plan is already set in stone and leadership refuses to change course. If you can't actually fix the flaws you find, the exercise is useless. The sweet spot is a high-stakes work project, a major life decision, or a big group trip, situations where the risks are real, but you still have time to pivot. So before you lock in the details for your next big endeavor, step into the mental time machine. Fast forward a year, look at the rubble, and figure out exactly what broke. Looking your team in the eye and asking, "It failed. Why?" is a simple way to catch the exact failures that would have hit you later, when the cost of fixing them is much higher.